What up? What up? 420 Fantasy Hustler back at you.
And I'm the five-time. I already don't know what I did with the ring. Champion.
Hell yeah. And we are bringing you, for all you Superflex degenerates and all you 2QB degenerates, we're bringing you our Superflex consensus QBs, the 32 through 24, the 13 through 24th ranked QBs. And let me just read off mine first, and then I'll read off Bogard's here. So if you didn't check out the top 12, just make sure you go back a couple videos on YouTube. Go check out me, Bogard, and Spencer's top 12. Here's my Superflex ranked QBs. I'm starting it off with Jalen Hurts. I was the only one who had him outside the top 12. I got him as number 13. And then I got Derek Carr, Corky Kirk, Tua, Jameis Winston, Matt Ryan, Davis Mills, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance. So there's a big discrepancy in my rank of Trey Lance and Bogart.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I forgot to send you my correction. I have Matt Ryan as 24, not. I have him as 23, not dumbass. I didn't realize I had dumbass in there, so he's all the way out of my rankings.
So let me read this off. So we got Kyler starting off at number 13, Corky Kirk.
Oh yeah,
Russ Wilson, Derek Carr, the Tuna Fish, Tua Tagovailoa. We got Trevor, we got Carson, we got the Judge, got Goffel in there. We got Zach Wilson, and then Matt Ryan, and then Justin Fields.
Yep.
And well, let me just start off with mine. Really, with Hurts, I guess I'm just not buying into that number 2. Finish last year. Like, I just feel like he's going to have a little bit of a regression, especially in the run game. They're not going to need him to run as much as they did last year. I mean, last year they needed him to put that offense on his shoulders. So shoulders. I just think he's going to take a couple steps back. I think he's probably going to finish as a low end QB1, but I think Trevor takes the leap over him. I put in Trevor at 12, and Hurts starts off my Superflex QB.
Would you have been more impressed last year if he only had the one shoulder?
Yeah, definitely. Because man, that Eagles, that 2-ton Eagles squad, that's heavy on just the one shoulder,
one wing, just flapping.
And so you got Kyler at 13. You're the only one who had Kyler outside.
You could basically make that same argument you made for Jalen is my partial argument against Kyler. I mean, and here's the thing: is like the schedule's rough. It's easy to start out, but the James Conner thing is not going to go away. The entirety of Cliff Kingsbury's time there, he's trying to be one of them top 5 rushing teams in the red zone because they're always right outside the top 5 when it comes to rush attempts in the red. You know what I mean? That just keeps going up every year with Cliff Kingsbury. That's my argument. You know what I mean? I mean, like,
they're pretty close to the top. They're pretty close to the top of the league since he's been there for rushing attempts in the red zone. Or well, I think it's
in the 5 they're one of the highest, but like in the red zone period, they're like hovering around the 5th. You know what I mean? Yeah, they just run a lot. I mean, and of course, some of this could be over the years skewed too because Kyler runs too. But they, I'm going to highlight what Kyler said last year when he was like, "I just want my legs to be a luxury." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like when they got down there, I mean, James Conner he vultured a lot of those Kyler attempts that we were accustomed to having. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. Plus, I have a vendetta against him. Is this Kyler's rankings? No, they're Bogard's rankings. And in my rankings, fuck Kyler. And I wish people felt the same about Kyler as I do. That way, I would have a ton of Kyler.
Yeah,
definitely. Value. But he's never going to go at value because we know what he could be. And this is where I temper my expectations. I had him as the number 1 QB the last 2 years. 2 years ago, he finished number 2. Missing time. So that's why I double back in 21 talking about, hey, You know what I mean? Look at the time he missed last year, and he still finished number 2. And it looked like we were off to that start. He was pacing for like 60 passing tugs, but that was after like 3 weeks. You know what I mean? Because then it all went to hell.
Yeah. Yep. And let's see, Derek Carr. I got him a little bit higher than you. Looks like you have him at like 15 or 16. But when you put Lance so high, I mean, shit, guys like Derek Carr and Corky Kirk they fall down a little bit. But you got Kirk a couple spots higher than me. I got Derek Carr a couple spots lower than you, but we got them pretty close together there.
And my argument for Carr is like, we haven't really seen Carr in too many different offensive systems. You know what I mean? 2 in his entire career, 2 different. You know what I'm saying? Basically, for the majority of his career, he's had 2 different systems. You know what I mean? The Gruden system he was in, and then he was with Bill. Is it Musgrave? You know what I'm saying? That when he was with Captain Jack and them. You know what I mean? And we've seen him be able to throw 30 tugs, but he for the most part, they're going to run the ball, if you ask me, because it's Josh McDaniels. And I'm talking solely when they get down there. I know you have Devontae Adams and stuff like that, but I feel like that's just going to make it easier for someone like Jacobs and or Zamir White to just waltz in there, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel that. And the consensus on Josh Jacobs as a whole is pretty low. And so I feel like I'm a little bit higher on the consensus just for that reason. They're just going to pound that rock.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing is like, me and you, we never been Jacobs guys until like we realize what Jacobs is, just a guy who will take a beating and they're just gonna keep feeding him and he's gonna volume our way and they're gonna give him the red zone looks or touches. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I don't think that's gonna change at all. I think it's gonna increase even more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And here's another thing too, is that we could hope for that could trump what I'm saying right here is that, when it comes to McDaniels, they're always at the top of the league at throwing the ball or targeting the running backs on early downs. You know what I mean? I don't think that goes away either. So we are going to have some greasy Josh Jacobs receptions that he could, you know what I mean? I mean, it could even happen down there in the 5, you know what I mean? Where, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's just where and so if he's not going to go over 30 tugs, you know what I mean? And I think he'll get maybe close to it, but that's why I have someone like Corky Kirk up there, is because I have Corky Kirk going over 30. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean he's been hovering around that, year after year and shit. You had Justin Jefferson in there and Adam Thielen. They're saying that his rehab's gone good. He shouldn't really miss any time. He should be back for preseason. He's already out there running around, and stuff. I feel it. I got Carr just a little bit higher based on the Adams, and we'll see it. He threw for the yardage. I mean, the yardage is there. Their defense
since 2018, he's been a 4th out passer. So
their defense stepped up though. That's the only thing I'm a little nervous about. But playing in the West, like all these games they're playing, they're gonna have to throw the ball, even though it's against good defenses.
Yeah.
And Josh Jacobs, maybe we get a little bit more receptions, this year than we've seen in years past.
He had a career high, so you know what I mean? Yeah. If we can just get that 50 burger, right? I mean, what do you have? 54 last year?
Yeah.
53?
Yeah, 54.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, give me 50.
348 yards. So, nothing crazy, but
it's all greasy.
Yeah, he mixes in 10, 15 more. And maybe a couple receiving touchdowns, because we already know Patriots. I mean, they're getting those dump offs to the running back in the green zone, and if he mixes in a couple of those, gets over double-digit touchdowns again, it's gonna be nice.
Yeah, and then there's an argument you could make for Derek Carr too. Is like, what if Drake is like, maybe the James White or something? You know what I mean? Because they got rid of Jalen the Rocket Richard. You know what I mean? Yeah, and there's no one really there, and except for Drake, because he's contractually there, So I feel like the new regime's gonna be like, all right, we have to use him then. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean last year he just didn't do shit last year. I mean he was
hurt.
63 rush attempts. I mean he gets 30 receptions. Has a couple touchdowns on the year. Yeah. It better just be all Josh Jacobs. Like they better not try to
Hey, what, low key? Hey, low key. They might ride Josh. I mean, Josh Jacobs could be like a 20-touch motherfucker for real. Like, I mean, even if you go back to Damian Harris, like, on a per game basis, I think it was like 18 carries when he was healthy. You know what I mean? So if that's a floor plus sprinkling some targets, this is like a guy. This is a RB1 that like people are just like completely off of, as far as like what his ceiling could be. They're off of him. You know what I mean? We're drafting him way at value.
Yeah, like low end RB2. I mean, sometimes even after wide running back 24, getting into these like flex options.
Yeah, 6th roundish. I've seen him like, I'm like, fuck, dude.
All right, well that's enough non-QB talk. Let's get back to the QBs, and we are ending the QB positional weeks. Our positional weeks on QB ends today, and this next week we're taking you to tight end university. And we're gonna have to come up with some creative stuff because usually the tight ends are pretty ass to talk about. But
it's gonna be like it's just gonna be like our ultimate top 5 rank, top 5 debate, I guess, top 6.
Well, I mean, because we got to get into lower ones. We can't just talk about the top 5.
No. I'm just saying if we split, because like we really just have like 12 that we could probably, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah.
But if like we could chop it into multiple episodes if we're doing like, the great debate on the top 6, and then like 7 through 12, and then like the guy like this time last year there was motherfuckers that'd be like, bro, I'm telling you, Adam Troutman, like, you know what I mean? Like, who's that guy this year? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
who's this year's TJ Hawkinson of last year, the guy who's hyped up as like top 6 guy unanimously.
Here's what I'm doing. Like, if it's really Zach Ertz for me. That's because he's the guy. Like,
JD says tight end is pretty deep this year, though. Pause.
Yeah, lightweight for real. I mean, you have a lot of guys to take your flyers on. Like, I mean, even when you get all the way down to like the Hunter Henrys and like goddamn Logan Thomas's and who else we got? The Pat Fryer moves. Like, you got Irv Smith's coming back. Maybe he could be a thing. Gerald Everett, G-Eazy's over there with Herbert. We've seen Jared Cook in that same system get like 6 to 8 tugs before. You know what I mean? Maybe the yardage won't be there, but just we have a lot of tight end week's gonna be interesting. And shout out to JD. You know what I'm saying? Hey JD, if you want to come on, let us know. We'll shoot you the link.
And let's get back into these QBs. So we both got 2. I got him at number 16. I mean, you got him kind of in the same range, maybe a spot or 2 higher. You think he really takes the step up this year?
The Tyree, it's the system, man. Like, it's quarterback friendly. Like, if you go back to like someone like Jimmy, who's in that same system, 2019. We were the 2nd highest scoring offense, but it wasn't because of Jimmy, so to speak. But he still had his 25 plus passing tugs, and then he had his his cunt hair under 4th hour. Wow, you know what I mean? That's why I have him here. It's like I don't see him being a 4,000 yard passer. But like he could easily be like a 27, a passing touchdown guy in this system. That play action shit's real. The Tyreek Hill thing is real. You know what I mean? All the yak shit. Everyone's gonna do it for him. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah, I don't really have him ranked too differently than I did last year. Maybe a couple spots, higher because I had him in the late teens. But yeah, we got to see it. I got to see it to believe it. He had some really good games where he flashed last year, but then he had some games where he didn't need to do anything. It was that defense and the run game. And I mean, the run game, it should get better. It can only improve. And it's crazy how Gaskin is like number 4, like on their depth chart. And it's going to be the 49ers, like four-headed committee.
I mean, because they're gonna rock fools, and they're all gonna get nicked up because they're all gonna get worked. You know what I mean? And like, it's just gonna be the survival of the healthiest. You know what I mean? At one point, it might be fuck around to be Sony Michel, who's getting like 18 total touches out of the backfield because everybody else died. You know what I mean?
Yep.
How long? I mean, Chase Edmonds, bro. He's not the good bill of health. You know what I mean? You see him in spurts before he gets nicked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And let me see.
I mean, Raheem Morris, same history, right? Like, what up? All these dudes get hurt. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what if there's the shit? It could all go to hell in their backfield. You never know. And Tua got to throw more. I mean, I doubt that because they even got all the way down to like practice squad guys that have high upside. Like they got Zaquandre White over there, who was like, he was like a lot of people's consensus, like top 6 prospects at the position, but he just went undrafted. You know what I mean? And here's one thing that I love about the Niner backfield is it doesn't matter how you got to that Niner backfield. If you got an opportunity, you were going to eat because they brought you in there specifically because you're a type. You know what I mean? They have a type. They have types there that they like. You know what I mean?
And look
So
at
he got
Roddy
a
said, is that crazy, Huss, or did we all see that coming but you? What's gonna be funny is when he has like a Jeff Wilson like game, you know, where just one game he goes off for like 3 or 4 touchdowns and they just never see him again. Because that's what's like literally gonna happen from this entire backfield. You're not gonna know who to play and when unless the pieces start falling, you know, and then it's addition by subtraction.
Right. And like those guys are gonna, I guess Chase Edmonds always gets drafted. Like a traditional 12-team super flex, like, you know what I'm saying? Those motherfuckers aren't, you know, just maybe just Chase Edmonds and someone taking the rest are all flyers. Maybe got a homer in there that might grab, you know what I'm saying? Like a Dolphin fan in your league or something. Otherwise, I'm just not really fucking with none of them. Those are waiver wire guys.
Yeah. I mean, even
somebody will drop Chase Edmonds at one point. Watch.
Yeah, because they're going to get annoyed with the whole thing unless we get some injuries early, and that just pushes someone extra to the top. But Chase Edmonds isn't a workhorse anyways, so I mean, I might have him in a couple leagues if I can get him, you know, 12th, 13th round. But pretty sure he's going
like
higher.
Like whenever he was in a timeshare backfield, he was a guy that touched the ball like 12 times a game, you know what I mean? And everybody would be so enamored because he would be the fresh legs that would be like averaging like 6-7 yards a clip, you know what I mean? Because he would just come in there and gas shit up, you know what I mean? But
quick,
and it's not like they're paying him really.
He said off topic. How do you guys think ETN does this year? You think he goes off? I really like it. I really like ETN this year. I mean,
you got a bold prediction for ETN.
Let's hear it.
He leads that team in receptions.
Oh yeah, and I mean, kind of bold, but I mean, shit.
It's bold in the sense that it's the running back, you know
right?
What I mean?
Exactly, man. I want to see something big happen out of ETN, especially after last year. I wasn't like super high on him last year, but I mean, I had him as an RB2 on at least one of my teams.
Hey, ETN, he said when they were asking about the Doug Peterson hire and they were asking about last year, and he's like, well, last year was a good year to sit out.
Yeah, definitely. High insight. I'm sure he's happy that he got paid whatever he got paid. Didn't have to deal with that fucking bullshit last year.
Right. And like, I mean, who do they really got over there? You got James James Robinson, and I love J Rob the Mob.
Might start on the pup.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, might start on the pup. You know what I mean? They got Snoop Connor, who like, you know, that's like a
fourth string head, like why is everyone so hyped on Snoop Connor? I mean, I like his name and everything.
It's the name, and then the James Robinson correlation with him being possibly not starting, and then like it's really just one blurb that came out where it was like he could be in for his own. You know, it was like the blurb was like, although undrafted, he could be in for a real role here if James Robinson, blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can't remember. I'm not saying it, I'm paraphrasing that blur, but I remember when I came out and it was like, well, I drafted him in a ton of our rookie drafts because he was just going like hella late. It's like, all right, let's take a flyer. You know
Ron said, I hear Doug loves Robinson. The thing is, every single coach in the world will love James Robinson because let's not forget, he was the guy who wasn't even drafted, right? Wasn't he like an undrafted?
He was undrafted, yeah.
Undrafted free agent who knows his playbook better than Leonard Fournette knew the playbook, and that's why they were like, all right, Lenny, get the fuck out of here. Yeah. We're just gonna rock with this rookie.
And like, you know, what was crazy too, it was like it was some universe shit for real because this was the first COVID year, and there was no preseason, and so it was like, you know, like 3 weeks before the year started, and then you know, Armstead, what was his name?
I think it was
Raquel Armstead.
Raquel, yeah.
He got COVID. Then it was like, who was the next guy? The Goon, Agun Dawale.
Agun Dawale.
Shout out to my man, the Goon. You know what I'm saying? DFS GOAT right there. There was a couple back in Tampa Bay days where I'd spot start him. He, you know, anyways. So this dude, he got COVID too. And then it was James Robinson, and now it just that was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, off to the races. And he was someone who, I mean, when you're an undrafted free agent, I mean, you literally can't like relax on your talent or whatever because nobody really thinks you're talented anyways. But he outworked everyone. They said that he never like let the because the playbook's all on a tablet or whatever.
You know who was on James
never
Robinson?
Had that shit out of his hand for like the entire preseason. It was glued.
Shout out to BWB. Do you remember the story that he told us?
I don't off the top of my head.
man, we've done a ton of content with BW, but I remember it was me, you, him, and like Spencer, like, but he was like, this goes back to like early 2020. Yeah, this is like early last year, the off season, and he was like, his rival high school, this fool went to that school.
Oh
You know what I
yeah.
mean? And like, he said he got flagged because he jumped over fools, like the fools that were trying to tackle him.
Yeah.
But he was that athletic, you know what I mean, in high school already. You know what I mean? Like he was, you know what I'm saying, running sub, I think like a 4.5, but just jumping over motherfuckers, like other grown size,
Men. I mean, well, high school. Like,
men. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because he was like, and like he said he did it twice on a play, like, you know what I mean, like one of them big old, you know what I'm saying, and they were they were on the road, so he was like, bro, he just shut the whole crowd up. Then they throw a flag and everyone goes crazy. You know what I mean?
finally got a flag on this motherfucker.
Yeah. And then so for according to BWB, when he was like, he was on him. And I remember being in some leagues with him where he was like, I'm telling y'all, fuck the Gundawale, and he's like, it's James Robinson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, and then there's a reason why he's still there. And while he's there, they're going to use him up when they're able to. But we just don't know if that's going to happen. As far as ETN, like he is going to get the passing work. And they already were lining in early mini camp, which was big for ETN because it's almost like brand new mini camp, like the first mini camp for him. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. And the one thing that he's really got going for him is he got hurt so early. I mean, what did he get hurt? Like week 2 of the preseason? Maybe
week
something
1.
like that. Yeah.
Week 1.
Yeah. There we go. So, I mean, it's been damn near a year, to this point. That's the one thing that he's really got going for him. I mean, him and, J.K. Dobbins, but I mean, J.K. Dobbins, we're hearing he's not coming along as quick as ETN is. So
it might fuck around and be a Mike Davis to start that year.
Yeah.
I mean, because they were actively trying to get Melvin Gordon, right? They couldn't get Gordon. Then they wait a while. There was like little whispers about Sony, and then they end up with Mike Davis. But see, it's like when you end up with a Mike Davis, that tells me two things. Like you're really desperate for to make sure you have depth because it already happened to you. Just like the Niners, like when it happened to Shanahan the first year, it's like, all right, I'm getting hella running backs. You know what I mean?
And let's get back on the QB. Let's get back on the QB train. So right in the middle of my ranks, I got Winston and Matt Ryan. So I got Winston over Ryan. I mean, you had Winston like number 12. I mean, maybe you have number 13 after we, whatever. Spencer convinced you on a few things, but those two guys are pretty much going like back to back in a lot of these drafts that we're doing. Sometimes we see Ryan go higher. Sometimes we see Jameis.
More Ryan. I always see Ryan go higher. I ain't never seen Jameis, at least in the ones I've been in. I mean, you're in all of them. So.
Yeah, and I'm talking mock drafts, too. True. And so it's I'd say it's 50-50 split on who goes first. Because, I mean, there's a big, there's a big Winston camp out there who thinks he's going to come in and kill it. And just like there's a big Matt Ryan camp. I mean, shit, I've seen him go as high as like the 3rd round in some of these best balls, maybe 4th round for sure.
Bro, I love Infamous Winston, bro. Shout out to my man Infamous. Give some Jamaicans for Infamous.
Yeah. I mean, really, it comes down to JT being with Matt Ryan and probably going to have.
And Matt, why do you think I have him so down there? I understand that it's Matt Ryan and he has a far superior arm to a Carson Wentz. And you could take those numbers and be like, look at what Carson Wentz did last year. 27 tugs, whoop, this, that, and the third. The interception ratio was really low. He lightweight did his thing. Enough to finish as a back-end QB1, correct, Carson?
I'm going to go double check where exactly he finished, but I think it was 12 or 13 where he finished.
Hey, all you JT owners, you're going to love this one because JT could like really threaten like LaDainian Tomlinson's touchdown, a season touchdown, real talk, because this is now going to be an offense that can sustain the drives and not just throw away, like they're going to be able to like 12, 14 play drives methodically and pound that motherfucking rock all the way down fool's throats.
All right. I mean? First off, I can't let you disrespect LT like that. We're talking 28 rushing touchdowns. Okay. 3 receiving touchdowns. He is not He's not going over 20. He's not going over 20. He's definitely not touching 30.
If he gets dubbed, That's a win for me. Just for the
I mean, if anybody gets 20, I mean, that's just insane. It
there
ain't
it is. That's my bold prediction. He's
Aaron
gonna
Jones.
match. He's gonna at minimum match. You know what? Taking Matt Ryan all the way out in my rankings.
Take him all the way
for 90% of their tugs.
No fucking way. No fucking way. So I got Matt Ryan 18th. He's someone who I'd really like to have. I mean, really, it's because of having the JT. Like, man, no one is gonna have a nicer play action than Matt Ryan because every single time the defense is gonna be keying in on JT. The thing that makes me a little bit nervous, I mean, the options, that they got over there. I mean, TY, I mean, he's nothing now, but I mean, he was
gone.
Yeah, he might not come back, and I mean,
he's gone there, or at least they haven't brought him back.
No, yeah, he's still a free agent or whatever. But it's just crazy because I mean, when you think of the Colts offense and their passing, at least for the last 5-6 years, it's all him. Now it's completely different. We got Michael Pittman. They got Mo Alley. Is it going to be Mo Alley big cocks or Mo Alley small cocks? But I think Ryan is gonna. I don't think he flirts with 30, but I bet he gets right around 25, like Carson Wentz had last year. Carson Wentz, I believe, had 27.
27, yeah.
And as long as he stays below 10 interceptions, keeps it real efficient, like Wentz did last year, he could finish there. Wentz finished as QB 13 last year.
I can get behind everything you're saying. I think, but like Matt Ryan being fantasy relevant over the years, he was a 600 pass attempt motherfucker. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he's not efficient. You know what I mean? Maybe this run game opens things up down the field, a lot more single coverage, then becomes more efficient. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, like, I
don't know if you could say he's not efficient. I understand what you're saying.
He always needed the volume. He always needed the volume. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like he was like throwing like under like 60% like completion percentage. I mean, he was normally like a 65 to 69 guy there.
69.
Yeah. What's the league average? 63, 58, something like that?
I'm gonna double check.
Yeah, because and you can't really judge him by his last 2 years. But I'm just saying, like anytime he was fantasy viable, it was 600 pass attempts that we were talking about. You know what I mean?
64 in 2021, 64.8 was the league average. Okay. So I mean, just looking at looking at his numbers, he's usually over the league average because I see a lot of 66, 67s, a couple 68s. In 2016, 69.9.
69.
That was the MVP year.
No, that was 2016. 2018, that was the MVP year, right?
No. 2016 was the MVP year.
Okay. Well, actually, in 2018, he did he did even better.
Even better.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 69s in 2018.
Oh, okay, wait. 69.4 was 2018, but he had a couple more yards, is what it looks like. And what was the touchdowns? Okay, yeah, it was a lot more touchdowns. Not even a lot, only 3 more touchdowns, same interceptions in those 2 years.
What did he have in the 16 year? Because what was his MVP year? Like 40 tugs?
37, I believe. Okay. Hold on, let me see. 38. Yep, 38, okay. 7 interceptions. Like, fuck, what a ratio right there. Yeah. And the TD percentage, 7.1, just hella ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. That's Aaron Rodgers. That's Aaron Rodgers status. But how many pass attempts still is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, the pass attempts was down 534.
Okay, so so
in 2008
about him being not efficient, but this is the outlier year right here.
It's the last 4 years where you go like that. Yeah, I mean, last year 560, so even less, but over 600.
And that was the Shanahan year too. So it's almost unfair for that to use that year, but I wanted to use that year because that was the best year to have Matt Ryan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
for sure.
He killed it that year. You know what I'm saying?
2018, he was no slouch. That was the second year on the new.
That was the Steve Sarkisian year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because
that was the second year. See that remember because that was the Matt Ryan where he was the second year guy in a new system, right? So that was the second year with Sarkisian because if you remember, in 2017. So this was their hangover year now, right? They lost. I mean, because what I'm saying, they lost in the Super Bowl. So 2017, and now they got Sarkisian because Shanahan went to the Niners. You know what I mean?
And you know what's crazy? 2019, 2020, he goes over 600 pass attempts, leads the league in completions both years as well. So even though, I mean, he's got the volume there, he is still being.
It was the touchdowns that weren't there those years.
Well, and see, and even then, 26 touchdowns. It was, I mean, the interceptions though. I mean, 2019 he has 14 to his 26 touchdowns, and then he has 11 interceptions to his 26 in 2020.
Okay. Yeah. Well, okay.
He's had a good mix of efficient.
Okay, I would move him up. This is where I'd move him up. I would move him up now after you. See, this is what's dope about, you know what I'm saying, when iron sharpens iron. I would move him up now. I would move him up higher than the tuna fish then. You know what I mean? Because you just told me some numbers that kind of make me a case. There's too much history here where it's like, okay, if I can get like some 26 tugs as a floor, right? Because now we're talking floor, then I'm going to move him up. You know what I mean? I might even move him up like right behind Carr. Oh, is right.
There's really only a couple years in his career where he went below 25 touchdowns. Let's see, 2021, 2017, 2015. And then his first 2 years in the league.
Because 2015 was his first year in that system.
Right. And then 2016.
He's always the dumbass the first year.
Yeah.
Second year with Shanahan, boom, he's the MVP. You know what's crazy is that, so the Shanahan leaves, they bring in Sarkisian, and then after Sarkisian leaves Atlanta, he eventually, he bounces around, but then he makes it to Alabama. And he took, like, see, here's the thing. When they brought in Sarkisian, they basically, ripped off Shanahan's existing playbook. They kept a lot of the shit the same. That's why we still had a follow-up Devontae Freeman year. And you know what I mean? Like,
they would have been stupid to completely change it around.
Exactly. I was coming up. But see, he took a lot of those isms over with him all the way when he got to Alabama. So that was the case if I was to make one for Mac Jones last year. You remember that?
Yeah.
Because it was like Mac Jones is like, he's about to walk into literally the fucking system that this guy ripped it off from. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And they're coming off a national, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's keep.
That would have been a bad idea.
Yeah, let's keep moseying down the road here, and both of us like the Judge Davis Mills Lane. Let's see, what do you have him as? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You got him as what's that? 8. So 19. We got him at the same.
Yeah, the Judge.
No, you got him at 20. I got him at 19. You got him at 20. Actually, you have Carson Wentz at 19. And I have him at 20. So we have the Judge and Carson Wentz.
They're interchangeable
at 19 and 20.
Yeah. Yeah. So we never got Spencer's rankings, huh? But he hasn't posted on IG. Yeah. For everybody that want to check out Spencer the Guru, and shout out to the Guru too, because he making that big move to NOLA. You know what I mean? Love milestones. Man, congrats on the new spot. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my guy. He'll be back rocking tomorrow with us on the mock draft Monday. But yeah, so if y'all want to check out his rankings, check him out on the gram. You know what I mean? Spencer the Guru. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, go check him out. And so why do you hate the Judge and have Carson Wentz over him?
It's like, okay, you know how like really big on the Judge, like for dynasty purposes as a third, right?
Yeah.
And like as a third, he still is one of my favorite thirds to have, because I'm always trying to have someone I view as a QB2 to even be my third. You know what I mean?
Right.
So in this case, but it's like, when you scale it back a little bit, you know what I mean? Like I feel like guys like Goffel, actually not Goffel. Who do I have in front of him? Wentz. Like Wentz is his schedule and the division, and like he has 2 boss weapons and he has a big arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy is like Carson Wentz is hella sloppy, but like Terry McLaurin has some of the best hands in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I've seen him make play, like he really catches the ball with his hands. He's not no body catcher, none of that shit. So it's like I've seen him overcompensate for other people's bad quarterback play. It just seemed to not work with Haskins, because you know why? And rest in peace. rest in peace to Dwayne Haskins. But I'm just saying that all the QBs that McLaurin played with, it just didn't. He clicked with everybody out except for Heineke and Haskins. You know what I mean? But Haskins could be because that's the Ohio State thing. You know what I mean? Like,
could have been. Yeah.
Yeah, and rest in peace to Haskins again. Yeah, but yeah, no, going back to what I was saying though, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I had Carson there. And if you remember that Washington secondary, they were given the first 6 weeks of the year. I swear they were giving up 280 through the air. It was like something ridiculous. It was like a cunt hair under 300. You remember that?
Yeah.
We were just like, yo, you know, if all else fails, just stream against fucking you know, their secondaries, receivers, QBs, whatever it was, bro. Because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then ironically, when Brady played them, that was one of the bad games for Brady because it's like they really showed up for that one apparently.
Yeah.
But I don't see that secondary really. You know what I mean? Maybe the lack of pass rush because Chase Young went out. Actually, he went out fairly late in the year. Actually, he actually went out that Bucks game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I mean, with the Judge, I mean, I'm really curious to see how long
Brandon Cooks, and that's pretty much it. You know what I mean? I mean, I love the outlooks for like a Reverend Jordan and what's his name, Mechie, and you know what I mean. But you know, there's just it's not going to happen immediately, and so I don't. But it's enough. It's going to happen. It's going to be enough where I still see him as like a 550 pass attempt guy, and he's going to play all the games because he seems to be durable. Because that's the one thing we realized first about him last year. That kid could take a hit. Remember? It was like a run-on joke. Like, damn, that kid could take a hit because he was getting beat up out there, and then he just slowly like Rocky, right? He just comes back. And you know, for me, he's just one of my personal favorites because really, I can make way more cases to get him up out of and really have him as like, you know, outside of the top 24. But you know what I mean? I let a judge.
Yeah, and I mean he only started 11 out of the 17 games. So really for me, that's what the difference is where I think he gets the big jump. I mean, he had another 6 games, you know, in there. I mean, that's a huge part of the season, you know, that he wasn't the starter. So only threw down 2,600 yards. I mean, the 16 TDs to 10 interception ratio, still solid, you know, coming in for being a rookie and not starting, you know, right off the bat. He had a way better TD to interception ratio than Trevor Lawrence. You know, I'll tell you that much. You had more interceptions than he had TDs. And, you know, who's to say who has better weapons? I mean, both teams
So we're in agreement that we can see like a step forward, whether it's a big one or not, it's a step forward nonetheless, right?
Oh, yeah. If he doesn't take a step forward, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever rank him as a QB.
I mean, and he'll probably get replaced. You know what I mean? Whether it's a veteran or you know, he has, and that's why I like him a lot too, because he has that kind of contract year-esque vibe because you know there's no real commitment to him, and next year's QB class is supposed to be plentiful, so you know he kind of has to show out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, and another thing here too is like I love the continuity. You know what I mean? Like they kind of have like a placeholder pretender guy with Dave Cuddy or Cully or whatever his name was. You know what I mean? No one's ever heard of him until last year, bro. Yeah. And then they get rid of him and then promote Lovie Smith, which makes sense. You know what I mean? And then they keep Pep Hamilton and everybody. It's all continuity. You know what I mean? For the young QB, which I like a lot. You know what I mean? You know, in football terms, man, I like them better than the Jags in reality. But it's like for fantasy, it's like Lawrence probably going to throw the ball like, you know, 630 to 640, maybe. You know what I mean? Like he already threw it for 600. You know what I mean? Attempts.
Yep. And I mean, what do you think about Lawrence? I mean, I snuck him into my top 12 just because I really do think that he takes a crazy step forward. And because people have been like slacking on him, like just noticing what he did rushing wise. And now with a couple more weapons, maybe he does take it down.
I just don't think I don't think he's like a 4,000 yard passer. I think maybe like 3,500 yards. You know what I mean? And like,
even though he already did 3,500 last year, you don't think he takes a step?
Oh, he did 35 last year. I thought he only did 31.
I'm going to double check it now. 36, 36, 41.
Oh, word. Okay. Let's do this then. I can still make this case where I have him. I could put him like around 4,000, if not like 4,000, right? Passing. But I'm still going to give him like maybe 22 like total tugs. You know what I mean? Through the air.
Yeah. I mean, shit, that would be a huge improvement from 12 to 22.
And like, and what's crazy is if we can get some sneaky rushing ones, because they're gonna do that, and it's all, can they move the ball down the field? You know what I mean? And like maybe Marvin Jones is sneaky this year because you're gonna need what's his name, Doug Peterson's system. And
so, I mean, he had 2 rushing touchdowns last year.
Yeah,
pretty easily he could improve that to 4 or 5. Be like what Dak was doing for a while. He was always getting 5 or 6.
He had 8 to finish up his last year in college, if I remember correctly, and they were all greasy ones too, right there, like within the 5-yard line. So he's like, you know what I'm saying. But here's another thing too,
especially now with Travis Etienne, there, and just the threat of the little dump off, like that's going to move some linebackers out of the way to where he's just going to be able to rush it real quick.
See, you might be able to talk him up to like behind Matt Ryan now, where I'm now having Matt Ryan behind. So it would now go a Derek Carr and then Ryan, then Trevor, then the tuna fish.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because the tuna fish is the one where it was like, I can make a case for him just because the system it's friendly as fuck to QB. You know what I mean? It's going to give a solid floor for a QB, and it's built on playmakers making the play. That's why that system produces MVPs when you have, someone who a real talent at the position, circa Aaron Rodgers or Matt Ryan in that same system. A couple years prior, you know what I mean? That was, what's funny is like, when we were going bold last year, that was one of my bold ones. Like, Baker Mayfield, dark horse, fucking MVP. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was making that same case because he's in that same, spread zone. You know what I mean? Just play action, pre-snap motions, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bootlegs.
And Crispy, he said running QB scare me because of the injuries. I mean, the thing that's crazy now is, guys like Kyler, they're always going to randomly get hurt here and there, but any of these QBs could really get hurt at any time. It's really just the rushing QBs. If it's one of their wheels goes down, they're likely to sit a little bit because if they can't run, some of these guys really aren't that good as pocket passers and need that extra little, wiggle to be able to get away from some of these D linemen.
Yeah, gotta have a good line, right? On top of being, and that's another thing too, is like, if you're gonna have, these mobile QBs, like I don't like drafting them super high because of that. Like, and like most of our, all of our joints are 1 point for every 15 passing yards. So, it's easier to overlook those guys. In best ball, I'm on record in one of the 3 leagues that I have. I took Lance as my 2 over taking Brady because I wanted someone who could like if he, I could make several scenarios plus being a homer that he could be like number 1 fantasy QB. You know what I mean? If he plays all year, and he doesn't get hurt. You know what I mean?
Yep. Hell yeah. And let's see here. Who else we got? All right. Now, now as we get closer to the bottom of our top 24 here, we got you got guys like Jared Goff right there. I got him as number 21. You got him right around the same. I think the exact same 21.
Yeah, 21. Yeah.
You got Zach Wilson who's in there. He's outside of my top 24. And then Fields is how you round it out. And so I rounded out with Fields and Trey Lance as well. So you don't have Mac Jones in there, huh?
No, and that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, where do you have Mac Jones?
So right now I have him at 22. I have him right behind Mills, Carson, and Goff, right above Ryan Tannehill, Trey Lance, Fields.
There's a real solid case I could make for that guy having like 18 passing tugs as like a ceiling. You know what I mean?
And that's the tough part with Mac Jones. Yeah, let me get to his let me get to his stats here. So 3,800, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. There is a world where we live in where he's only getting 18, but I'm not going to put the floor anything below 20.
I could even get behind his 22. Like if you tell me that's his floor, you know what I mean? I would probably move him up like behind Tua.
Now, super efficient, only 521 attempts, 67.6 on the completion percentage. I guess it's really going to be, do they uncork it any more than 521 attempts? I mean, one game, remember, just one game, he only had 3 passing attempts, so that brought down the average just that one game alone. They may have another one of those. Who the fuck knows? Like, they're going to play Buffalo in the snow more than likely again. So it could happen.
It's also like a for real team. Like you said, like point out that game, like granted there was bad weather, but like they could beat a team 9-6 on any given day. You know what I mean? Like,
and they'd be happy with it.
And then I don't know what. Here's why I'm gonna be real with you. I love him as a third QB in a lot of my dynasty leagues, and I have him as a third. And I even have other ones where it's like it's him and Lance, and I'm like, okay, cool, because it's 2 guys that like just for dynasty purposes I have the one. It's the 7. I have him, Lance, and Burrow.
Yeah.
So I feel like cool, like all right, for at least for the young wise or youth wise, I feel good. But like it just for redraft purposes, I need like a I don't know. I don't feel like he's gonna have big weeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's too safe. I mean,
he's too safe, and like it's a new. I don't know what they're gonna do. Who's the OC?
Well, here's what we got to think about too. We got to go back to Tom Brady when he wasn't like what everyone's thinking about for the last 5-6 years. Like, we go back to when his first like 5-6 years in the NFL, he wasn't that top 10 fantasy guy. Like, he's like a mid-level QB2 with maybe a couple random high weeks here or there, but he's usually just like a safe guy that you would have as your super flex or your QB2, but someone who's not going to lose it for you, but someone who's not going to win it for you either. In fantasy, I'm talking.
Yeah. Okay. What about I mean, he is a guy that in college, brother, that last year.
Yeah, shout out to Ron, says can't complain. Daughter turns 5 this week. Nice, congrats.
Yeah, man, congrats, brother. Yeah, my daughter turned 9 this week on the 5th.
Nice.
Shout out to Mac. Shout out to recipes to the Mac God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Freak Stomper said, congrats. My daughters are 19, 18, and 11. 5 is such a great age. Enjoy it, bro. Man, that's a lot of daughters right there. A lot of daughters. That's Bogard's level right there. Maybe now.
I was going to say, I'm at my oldest about to turn 15. You know what I'm saying? Towards the end of this year.
Is she going into high school or is she in high school?
Yeah, she's gonna be a freshman. You know what I mean? So she turned 15. My second oldest just turned 9, and then my youngest just turned 1.
Yeah,
you know I mean, those are my girls, and then it's me and my boy, and we looking around. We're like, yup. Because like we know we both got testosterone, and there's all this estrogen scattered around in the room everywhere. You know what I mean?
Freak Stomper's got you beat though. He said he's 41. He's got a 19-year-old.
I mean, shit, he's doing his thing. What's the math on that?
What is that? 22.
Yeah. So yeah, he had me beat by as far as age goes. Like, yeah, I was 20. I was 22 when I had my first one.
And you're just a couple years younger, is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jay Tan said, talk about the New England run game. We'll get to it. We'll talk a little bit about it, like towards the end. We're talking about our Superflex QBs. We're almost to the end though, so after we get done with that, we'll touch on the New England run game.
Yeah, because this is like a debate that no one really wants to have either. So I'm willing to have this debate.
Yeah, because it's super easy to always just say, oh, it's going to be nobody because it's going to be everybody. But I got some stances on this New England.
Yeah, me too.
Game. Yeah.
Well, we remind us to get to that.
And Crispy said pups. Yeah, I know. And Crispy, he's holding it down. He's our elder statesman in the room, whose daughter will kick your daughter's ass, by the way, because she's the snake wrangler.
Snakes. She's a snake charmer.
Yeah. So Mac Jones, I mean, at 22, I got him above Fields and Lance. As of right now, Lance is probably going to be the one that changes. Once we hear more news about Jimmy G and all that, I'm not going to be on the side of the fence that you guys are. I mean, especially not you, being that he's going to be top 10. But as new information comes in, I will change around my ranks, I'm sure. So it probably won't be 24 going into the season on my list.
Right.
Fields very likely could be 24 out of 24 on my Superflex QBs because I really don't want too much to do with him. First off, the offense sucks. Second off, new system. Third off, Ohio State quarterback. Fourth off, Darnell Mooney's his number 1. There's so many things down the list why he's like a bottom end QB2 for me. And I got Ryan Tannehill, Baker Mayfield, Danny Pesos, Zach Wilson, right on the cusp. So any one of those guys, I feel, could leapfrog Fields and get Fields to like QB3.
I think Fields' ceiling this year is 3,000 passing yards, but like his ceiling on the ground is like 500.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
I mean, I was gonna say his ceiling
It's
could
realistic.
be a little bit more to like 750, 800. I mean, if he has to,
I'd
like,
say 600. I mean, because you know what? There's going to be. I don't think that defense is that secondary is still going to be man questionable. You know what I mean?
oh, their whole defense is gonna be for sure.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, so you know what I'm saying. So I feel like you know, I mean, that's where it's like the rushing. It might not be as much as I want it to be, but you know what? I'll meet you halfway and give him like 650. You know what I mean?
He started 10 games last year. Hold on, let me see.
Yeah, because if you pay
hold on, here we go. He starts 10 games last year, 420 yards on the ground.
Ooh, okay, the receiver, there it is. Oh man, I might gotta move up Fields higher.
So
I think I gotta move him up higher.
Same kind of thing we're talking about.
I want to give him like 500 yards though, to be honest with you.
I mean, we're talking about 7 more games at that point. I mean, if he doesn't crack 500 yards,
this
he got 420 last year.
I mean, why did he miss so many? Did he get hurt? I can't remember because I remember they gave him the job at one point.
He wasn't the starter to start.
He wasn't the starter, but he didn't finish the year out either.
But he got hurt was what it was. So he didn't start like the first 4 games or something like that. And then they gave him the nod. But it was better that they didn't. Like, they were going up against rough ass teams those first couple weeks. Like, it would have been stupid to throw him out there.
Yeah, I mean, he started off with the Bengals, and the Bengals showed up, but like, listen, we ain't playing this year. They beat his ass. Hey, look at this. How about this too? I'm gonna move him up. I would move. I'm dropping 2 of the 24. That's it. We're just doing it.
Ooh, spicy. There we go.
We're move up Fields, bro. Hey, Fields is just a running back that's gonna throw the ball here and there. That's how I view him now.
I mean, it's his passing that's definitely got to improve. I mean, he put some bad tape out there, like passing wise, and he put some bad stats out there as well. I mean, not even a 59% completion percentage, 270 attempts. I mean, not horrible. I mean, 10 games, you know, we would like him to throw more, especially with how shitty like everything was. 1,800 yards, 7 TDs, 10 interceptions, so a horrible ratio, you know, there. It for him, it is going to be the rushing that's going to have to bring him up. I mean, I'll put his ceiling around 800. I don't think he's like 1,000-yard dude. That's his ceiling, though. Floor, though, his floor has got to be 500. Like,
you give him 500. I'll give him like, okay, look at this.
Yeah, freak stomper. I'm so out on Fields. Yeah.
I'm gonna move him up now. We're doing this.
Where are you moving them? You don't have to talk about who you're moving down or anything, but where do you think just within your 24?
I think like 20-ish.
Okay. So a couple spots higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that Russian, I thought, you know what's funny is I did glance at it when I was, you know, just sending you my list. I was glancing at some of the numbers I needed to like recheck. I didn't realize he had 400 and some change. You know what I'm saying?
420, man. 420.
Yeah, I probably would have had him higher than that than last.
Yeah, he's really got to improve on the like he's got to crack 3,000. You know, or he's probably not going to be a top 24 guy. He's got to like get a lot closer to 20 touchdowns than 7. And
if he's rushing a lot, it just by nature there's going to be some tugs.
Oh yeah, for sure. He had 2 last year on the ground, so he's got to get in that 5-6 range. You know, he's got to put up what Dak was putting.
Hey, do you remember what he said about one of those games? It was like, I think it was like week 2 or 3. And this is what really Justin Fields made me laugh because they asked him. They said, "Oh no, it was Jalen Hurts." Never mind. He made a reference about they were like asking about the game, and he was like, "Oh, you know, when you take a dump, you just flush it. You don't look at it." And it was just so puzzling because that was like. But yeah, okay, never mind. It would have been better if that was Justin Fields. Okay. Hey, here we go. Outside of the Ohio thing, though, I can make a ton of cases for this kid because. Man, he's someone I had to scrutinize heavy last year because he was one of those guys that the Niners might have got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just sucks because ultimately it's like you can just say the Ohio State guys don't pan out in the league because we just don't fucking see it. You know what I mean?
And as good as they
History's a
are in
motherfucker.
college, it's crazy how it's never really translated to the NFL like at all. And last year, I think he did exactly what Ohio State quarterbacks do in the NFL. If he's going to prove everyone wrong, it's got to be this year because I mean, the whole team just fucking sucks right now. They got their identity crisis because now, I mean, they got the whole new regime, you know, in there. You lose Allen Robinson. Now you just got Darnell Mooney. Is he really going to be that dude? Cole Kmet, like someone
They got the what's his name? The Vaj Jones.
Valus Jones,
Yeah.
however you say his first name.
Vagine Jones. Vaj.
So, I mean, the Bears, I mean, outside of Monty Burns, which I'm also kind of avoiding, well, not necessarily avoiding, but I'm not going to overpay for him. I got to get him at value. I just don't think I'm going to be fucking with the Bears too much. Like, I mean, maybe Darnell Mooney in a couple places where he falls, but it's really going to be volume. Like, this team is going to be fucking ugly.
I can't argue that.
Fuck the Bears.
I like Monty. I still like the outlook for Monty. And it's also it's gonna be one of those wide zone schemes with a mobile QB in it.
Pete Stomper said, "Thank the universe for not letting the Niners draft Fields."
Yes, thank you. Hey, because you know what, too, after we like that was the one thing too, the Ohio State thing, because like you had all these joints like at that quarterback academy, he scored the highest ever, like a perfect score.
Yeah,
test, and it was just like, oh my god. And then like it comes out he's epileptic. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah, and then like we were doing whatever podcast we was doing, and then there was a guy, I can't remember his name, but he came out. He was like, man, he was like, I'm epileptic. He's like, I take meds. He's like, I haven't had an episode like since I was a kid. And I was like, oh, okay. Like you're just someone who actually deals with it.
Yeah.
To like you know what I mean? But he said like, it could be certain cases that it's that bad where you can't even drive. You know what I mean? Like you won't be able to get an L's, you know what I mean? Like drive legally at least, because you can just, you know what I mean? But I don't think Justin Fields is anywhere near that on the spectrum, you know what I mean?
Right.
Supposedly,
we would hope not. Like that would be some crazy shit, you know?
I know, right?
Have a seizure or something and fucking just get blasted by a D lineman or something. Like, I mean,
oh my god, that'd be a nightmare.
It's not even funny to like think about. Like that shit would be scary. Like motherfucker could die.
That'd be cold.
Yeah. And Sir Bong's alive. He says that's my quarterback.
It's my quarterback.
Oh shit! Oh, that's right. He's a Bears fan.
Yeah, he's in the Chi-Town.
Yeah, shout out to Chicago, man.
Yeah, and so I would like to have another episode. Maybe we'll do it a little bit later where we deep dive. Like if you're scraping the bottom of the barrel, like you're stepping in gum. Like which piece of gum is gonna stick to your shoe? That you might have as a
Danny dumbass.
Yeah.
Because you know why? It's like it's like it has a built-in excuse. Like if my team goes awry, it'll be all because I had him on it. So if I could just be like, yep, you know what I mean? Like say I don't like the way my team's being built and I need a third QB and that he's the only one left, I'll be like, well, it makes sense. I don't like this whole draft. I might as well end up with Danny Dumbass and just fuck it all off. But he has that rushing. He's a super cheap, greasy version of that. His legs are so fast, they run from underneath him. I've seen it.
Yeah. So fast he can't even keep him underneath him.
Right.
Man, fucking Danny Pesos. And and I mean I have Zach Wilson a lot lower than you do. So I guess
I love making a case for Zach Wilson.
Go ahead. Make your case.
No, it's really just because he's got the rushing. You know what I mean? And he's in that system. You know what I mean? Look at what all Shanahan's disciples are doing. Like, so you have Matt LaFleur over there with Aaron Rodgers, but they drafted Jay Love to be that guy. Like, you know what I mean? Jay Love never ended up to be anything in that system, right? But like, obviously because it's Aaron Rodgers. But like, having a mobile SQB in that wide zone or spread zone, whichever version of it that you do, shit's it's tremendous for fantasy. You know what I mean?
Who had more rushing yards last year, Pesos or Zach Wilson?
Pesos.
Yep.
Yeah. But still, though, here's the thing: I think Pesos played more games than him, though, too, right? Because Zach Wilson missed like a cool amount of time.
Nope. But he actually played 2 less games than Zach.
Okay. Wilson. All right. Well, look at this. Zach Wilson I like looking at the games as it progressed for him. Right when he got into week 17, if you had to play Zach Wilson, he put up fantasy points. That's what we're looking for, and it was against the Bucks in a game that they needed to win too, and they were whooping the Bucks up. You remember that game?
Yeah,
they were whooping them up, and in true Tom Brady fashion, that last possession he went down there and got the score for the win. You know what I mean?
So I'm just looking at both guys here because to me, I mean, both guys are kind of in that same tier of just ass.
So,
when we're
would you
about-
say there's more upside with a Danny Dimes versus Zach Wilson? Because I like Zach Wilson's upside because of the weapons that he got.
I'd still say there's more upside with Pesos because of the extra
one.
Well, I mean, because of the run game, for sure. I mean, the vet. There, I mean, they improved their line a little bit. I know the Jets did too, but I think the Giants a huge step up with that tackle that they got. And really, I mean, it's the extra 2 years of experience. Like that's what I'm leaning on.
Are the Jets just being on the Jets? Is that equivalent to being like a quarterback coming out of Ohio State? Like, it's just the Jets.
I mean, it has been, right? Like unless you're Ryan Fitzpatrick, unless you're fucking Brandon Marshall,
fucking yeah.
So listen to some of these stats. Let me break down both. Okay, so Wilson, 13 games, 213 completions, 383 on the attempts, 55.6 completion percentage, 2,300, 9 TDs, 11 tugs for the rushing, 29 rushes for 185 yards. Really crazy. 6.4 on the average, 4 touchdowns on the ground as well. So how many total touchdowns? So 13 total touchdowns for him. And then you got Pesos, 2 less games than only 11 games, 232 completions. So like more completions, less attempts, 64.3 on the completion percentage, 2,400 yards. So a lot more yardage on the same.
It's a third-year guy versus a rookie with a rookie head coach too, though. You know what I mean? So the fact that he's even comparable to the dumbass, I think there is cause for. It's just I guess you got to look at it and remove the fact that they're Jets, because then it's like, because then now you're convincing me I can move him out and move some other people into my top 24. You know what I mean? I
feel like just like the ADP is stating, both of these guys are like in very similar. Like
okay, I got it.
Same tier for me.
I'm going to move him out of my top, out of my my QB2 range.
Okay,
and this one I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna totally not rank Zach Wilson, but I'm gonna rank the great White Hope, White Mike himself, getting in there. QB 37. Let's go.
Bring White Mike back. and so Pesos, his running also. So I mean, a lot more rushing attempts. Wasn't as efficient. Still 4.8 on the yardage, or yardage per attempt.
You gotta put his ass off. Because it's like a contract year for the rest of the world to see him too, or else he's gonna be one of them backups. You know what I mean?
That's another reason. Like, I mean, Zach Wilson just seems like the type of kid, and he's.
Are we moving Danny Dimes up?
No, I'm not. I mean, I already have him high. I have him at 27. I have Zach Wilson at 28.
Okay.
So no, I'm not.
Well, this is a valid argument. Then this is a good debate right here.
Yeah, and I really feel and Goff over both of them. Yes, I'm with that.
Hey, people say Garrett Wilson was the best. People had Garrett Wilson as the best receiver prospect. A lot of people did. I mean, it was arguable, obviously, because there were so many. But I mean, does that? I mean, like the weaponry, the second year Elijah Moore. You know what I mean? In the same system. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I guess, like, I mean,
addition of Breece Hall. I think there's maybe it's more. I am that dumbass who takes like the bets that pay out big. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, it's more fun that way, right?
It really is.
Yeah, it's not sexy to win a couple bucks and bet on the guy who's supposed to win. It's way better to like triple your money and win the non-conventional way. Or whatever.
I won a league last year. I had Jarrett the Parrot Patterson, and I had Keyshawn Vaughn. And
hold on.
Keyshawn. Yeah, I mean, it was a week 17. Like I had to fill these motherfuckers in there, bruh. Who else was in there? Oh, it was like Double Barrel Daryl.
Yep.
It was like some guy, not the one against you, but I'm just there was one of them where I was like, I had spot start all week. These motherfuckers, that shit was
And,
crazy. Oh, it's Stevenson. It was like the ultimate. It was Stevenson. Yeah.
And AJ, what up, AJ? He says golf over both of them, and yeah, I'm with you on that. I got golf over both those guys.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not mad about it at all.
Yeah, Goffel though is definitely someone I'd rather I got to have as my third.
Oh, now I remember what I was gonna say. Okay, because we're living in a world right now where everybody's healthy, going into the preseason. You know, I mean, even though Kenny Galladay,
Oh my God! They killed Kenny! You bastard!
even though he's usually dying out there, at least as of right now, he's healthy. You know, or healthy-ish for Kenny.
He'll
G.
die.
Yeah, he will. Kadarius Toney, you know, is he going to be that?
He dies too.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if
Sterling
all these guys
Shepard?
start dying off, then it's not Danny Pesos, then it's Zach Wilson. It's
Sterling
all
Shepard
the
dies
guys
too
die.
all the time. And when's the last time you seen Sterling Shepard?
I don't know, 2019, 2020.
They all die. It's like you know who would be the only guy that stays consistent in Danny Dimes' whole career and consistent hasn't been there with him is Darius fucking Slayton, dude.
What do you think about this? Devin, silly white boy, said Zach Wilson reminds me of how people thought of Josh Allen after his rookie season.
I like that. I mean, Steve, you know, when you're farther out east, like, you know what I mean, a lot of the New York publications, like, you know, you'll see some fluff pieces where they draw comparisons and whatnot. They've even drawn last year before he was drafted anywhere. He was drawing the Mahomes comparisons as far as like his off schedule plays and
that's what fucked it up. Tony Romo saying that he's like the next fucking Patrick Mahomes. Well, and here's Josh Allen's rookie year, just for those who don't remember, because maybe people might like literally forget like how bad he did as a rookie. 52.8 completion percentage, 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. It was his rushing though, 631 yards, 8 touchdowns for the Stallion. But that's all he was.
Galloping.
He was just galloping all over everybody. Like, couldn't throw to save his life in the first 2 years.
He literally got with man, what's the QB coach, man? Jordan Palmer, Carson Palmer's bruh.
You know what this shows me though? This shows me that I don't want to fuck with Zach Wilson until year 3.
Well, look at year 2, the Stallion. Year 2 Stallion was fantasy viable.
Well, fantasy viable, like that's it. But that's because like he may have not have won QB leagues. He wasn't being drafted like Superflex leagues. Like you're getting him hella late.
I mean, we only do Superflex now.
3,000 yards,
passing,
20 tugs, 9 interceptions, and then the rushing 510, 9 touchdowns. Like that. That's why he was fantasy viable. Is Zach Wilson going to throw down 9 tugs? You know, because they play in one of the fucking toughest divisions as far as defense goes. He's got to face New England twice. He's going to get dominated. He's going to face Buffalo twice. He's going to get slowed down. And he's going to face the Dolphins twice. He's probably not going to do too good in those games either.
You just said games where he's throwing it like 40 times, bro. 50 times.
And it could be
ugly. It's going to be ugly. We'll get it. Yeah. Don't watch Zach Wilson. He might still put up points. He might be.
Zach Wilson's too pretty to win ugly. I'll say that.
He might be new Danny Dumbass. He might be like Dumbass a junior, bro.
I mean, their stats super comparable. Yeah. You know, I mean that's why I'm literally leaning one spot on.
You know,
Danny
that was
Pesos
actually my first nickname for him. My first nickname for Zach Wilson was Dumbass Mahomes because that's what everyone kept like comparing to Tony Romo, like saying all this shit. And I was like, oh, yes, I just started calling him Dumbass Mahomes. You know what I mean? Because he made the one throw where it crossed his body. Remember that shit?
Yeah.
Everybody
like
went
crazy shit or whatever it was. Yeah.
That shit's so funny.
Yep. All right. Well, let me read my top 24 did not change. We'll see how Bogard shaped out. But I got Jalen Hurts, Derek Carr, Corky Kirk Cousins, Tua, Winston, Matt Ryan, Judge Davis Mills Lane, Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, and Trey Lance, with a big asterisk next to Trey Lance that he probably will move up when we get more Jimmy G news.
Yeah. And this is why we also I mean, we're doing another kit this year, right?
So it's going to be really the kit is going to be just rankings, and that's it. So I
Exactly.
mean, there just wasn't too
Stay
many
tuned.
people who utilized the entire kit to what it needed to be.
Yeah.
So this year we're just going to get like all of our rankings in there. Me, you, Spencer. We'll see. We'll see about TD. We'll get AJ's rankings in there, and we're just every position. You know, we're gonna have QBs. We're gonna have. I'm gonna be breaking it down in tiers. If everyone else breaks it down in tiers, we'll have it. You know, on that as well. But it's gonna be like an ebook. Is what it's going to be. And we're even going to charge a couple bucks for this. And really, it's just for all this work that we're doing. And we'll charge people maybe like, I don't know, anywhere from like $3 to $5, you know, just to get it. So it's not going to be a lot, but just to support the cause, because we're putting in a shit ton of work on these rankings to make sure that you guys are going to be able to dominate those drafts.
Yeah.
And we're doing all these videos where we talk about our rankings anyways, but you're going to need to deep dive with all of our rankings. Cause I mean, shit, I'm going to have like 70 running backs ranked, you know, like 100 wide receivers, you know, that we're not doing no video with the 100 wide receiver breakdowns or anything.
Okay. Before we got one thing to address before we get out of here.
And before we get out of here, we're still going to go over for J-Tan. We're still going to talk about.
Yeah. That's what I was going to bring up right now.
Okay. Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So look at, like, I think it's Damian Harris. Like, yeah, she's just gonna be the guy who gets the workload. But like, I've always found myself just getting Stevenson because he's hella late, and someone else always takes Harris way too early. Where I would get, you know, what I mean, where I would never get him. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like it's the same way. I didn't even rank Mac Jones. You know what I mean? Like, this is gonna be a running ass team, bro.
Crispy, we'll put your rankings in there, bro. He said you don't trust my rankings.
I gave him Mahomes. I like my team. I like my team build over there for that best ball team, but I still gave him Mahomes. But I might have the ticket. You never know. This might be This might be the build I need.
Damian Harris, I just feel like, I mean, maybe sometimes he's being a little bit overdrafted, but I feel like as a flex running back, that there might not be too many guys who are better than that this year. Like top, like, you know, somewhere between 25 and 30 on a normal, or 20, let's say 25 and 32 on a normal, or 25 and 36. I'm trying to think 12 times 3. 25 and 36 on a normal basis. If he throws down 15 plus TDs, which what was it, 18 last year, you're just gonna love him being in the flex. He's gonna be solid. You're probably never gonna want to remove him.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to. And then like, but here's another thing too, is like, then there's too much hype on Stevenson enough that he goes way too high in a lot of cases, right? But it's like, I would love to have both of them. In a lot of my dynasty leagues, I have both of them. And I feel okay because I'm just like, one will die and then the next guy's up. And Harris does have a history of that. That's the one thing you worry about with Harris too.
For dynasty and best ball, you got to have both of them. Like, I'd feel naked not having both.
Yeah. I haven't been able to get both of them too. People take Harris too high, especially when there's these running back runs, these deep running back runs where all the twos are going. You're like, damn, that. And when someone takes Harris and I'm upset, I'm like, damn, like, you know what I mean?
And seeing, like, I mean, it's because once you get to that RB 25, you know, like, I mean, you just start getting into some, like, I mean, not dart throw territory, but guys who you just don't want to start on a consistent basis. And Damian Harris is like at the top of those guys.
And I'd always just rather, I'm always reckless. I'd rather just get like the rookies. Like, oh, you know what? Let's just go James Cook here. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, take a higher upside. And Jake Man said, I heard Stevenson may take the job by midseason. I don't see that happening unless Harris starts fumbling.
But also too is like Stevenson, like, I mean, he does have him significantly on the weight and height, right? He's like, because I remember we actually looked into this at one point. And he got some wiggle. Like, he's a fun running back for fan. You know what I mean? Like, I love Rahamador.
6 feet, 227. Definitely got some wiggle for 227.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and like, you know, he's because of his size and everything, he's good at pass pro. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, he's way bigger than a James White. I'm not saying he's gonna come in and be that role, but you know what I mean? He also, like, he's big, so he gets the goal line. He's got goal line opportunities even when Harris was healthy. And then, like, we've had a mix of Harris hamstring games and also COVID games because he missed games because of those two things, right?
Yeah,
And,
he
and
played.
all those,
He only played 15 games last year.
yeah, and Stevenson, I think he
Those were the 2 games that he started. He only started 2 games.
yeah, there
And
you go.
he played 12 games because there was I
He
mean
was
there
a healthy scratches a couple times too.
yeah, he just wasn't a part of their game plan for that.
Nope.
And more towards the end, like he wasn't getting taken out of there. But I mean, look at his stats. I mean, 4.6 yards per carry. Like, you really can't be mad at that. I mean, on the receiving, 8 yards per reception. And because some of those, you get him that wheel route or whatever where he's catching the flats and he's just gone for like 15, 20, like real easily. And I mean, Damian, 4.6 on the yards per carry. And 202 rushes. So I mean, that's not too shabby compared to 133 for Ramondre. And it's crazy because we think of Ramondre more as like the pass catching back. He only had 14 receptions last year.
And that what's his name had what, 18?
Yeah, Dame, he had 18.
Okay.
And Damian had 132 compared to Ramondre's 123.
Yeah.
No, neither one of them. Neither guy.
Because Rahamador gets loose. Hey, he's nasty, James. He's big, nasty James White, right? He's James White's little big brother.
Yeah, and let me
if
see.
we can get that would be dope. I mean, they have Pierre Strongs. There's other things, wrenches that could be thrown in. But here's one thing I will tell you is that Damian Harris and Stevenson, in their time with Belichick, he tells us that those will be the guys if one's not. If there's no Harris, it's Stevenson. You know why? Because these are guys that will never play special teams neither. So they will give them the entirety of the load on the ground and run them into the ground one by one. And whoever's that main guy, he just has a history of doing this,
because they are super similar in the build. Ramondre's 6 feet 227. Dame is 5'11.
5'11. Yep. And you go back to your LeGarrette Blunts, your Stephen Ridley's. These are all guys. They have a type that they like to use down there in the 5-yard line. You know what I mean?
Yeah. See, what's crazy? I mean, here's the craziest thing to me last year, as far as like the snap count goes, or the total snaps on the season. So of course it's Damian Harris who has the most total snaps out of the running backs for New England. Brandon Bolden, second most. Jacob Johnson has the third most snaps, and then you get Ramondre in there, fourth most snaps out of the running back room. And then
are they counting the special teams too, though? You know what I'm saying? Because Ramondre will never play any special teams. They're not gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those other guys are all guys that you know what I mean? Those count as snaps, right? Or is this only talking about offensive snaps? And then that would be like a head scratcher to me.
So you know what? I'm not sure. It's probably it's total snaps. So I mean, it probably is some some
because Brandon Bolden did have some games because remember COVID hit the Patriots on a handful of occasions, and there was no James White too. So Brandon Bolden definitely played that role. You know what I'm saying, for a young Mac Jones. You know what I mean?
And hold on, because I can go check their offensive. I could go check their offensive snaps here.
Nice.
Here we go. So let's see. Brandon Bolden. Where is it? Here we go. Yeah, 31% total snaps. And they're 31% offensive snaps, 63 on special teams. And then compared to Ramondre. Huh. Yeah, so Ramondre only 34% total snaps and then nothing on special teams.
Yeah, and he'll never play special teams. Now that we're Damian Harris. I mean, you know what I mean? That's why
but here we go. Hold on real quick. Yeah. And then Jacob Johnson, the other dude, right?
Yeah.
28% offensive snaps, 44% special teams. So not even that far behind Ramondre. I mean, those games that Ramondre was a healthy scratch, I'm sure it was Jacob who was playing. Yeah. He's a fullback. So
yeah, exactly. See, yeah, so he man, you remember Devlin, James Devlin?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was a nasty fullback. Like they love so the fullbacks, they're gonna play. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That they're gonna play a ton of snaps in that system. You know what I mean? This goes back. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're one of the only teams too that'll fuck with it. I mean, it's kind of coming back actually, because all the wide zone schemes. You know what I'm saying? A lot of them have fullbacks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Niners, Packers. What is it called? Actually, damn, Tennessee don't have a notable fullback, huh?
I don't think so. I mean, Derrick Henry's he's never got no.
Even the
fullback.
Chiefs have a fullback. Remember, that guy. He snakes touchdowns here and there. I think his name's like Ferguson. Is that his name?
I think so. I'm not 100%, but sounds about right.
Yeah, where they would just fucking on the goal line give it to this motherfucker. We're like, wow. It'd be like throwback, throwback Adam Rank. That helps nobody for real. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? One touch in the game and one touchdown.
Yeah. All right. So man, we've been rocking for a little bit. There's our top 24 consensus QBs. Starting tomorrow, we're kicking off tight end week. And what do you got going on tomorrow? You want to do a little recap of the tourney so far?
Yeah, as long as I'm good in the morning, you know me. You know what I mean? Because we've been doing it early enough when the kids still sleep. So I mean, and like, you don't mind whenever I have to run off anyway. So
yeah,
you know what I
mean? Let's start early. Let's start like 7:30 or something tomorrow. If we'll both, I'm sure we'll both be up then, and then we could talk about the crazy tight ends going early and guys like TD snaking 3 tight ends with his first 3 picks in the tourney, and talk.
I want to know why he didn't also try to get Waller. Don't just fucking quit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Get Waller, Schultz, get them all like Pokemon, bro.
Yeah,
gotta catch them all.
You could play 4, and if you want to get crazy, you could play 5 if you throw one in at your Superflex.
It might be better than his Superflex QBs and in some weeks. You know what I mean? Because if he's doing that, he's waiting on QBs. You know what I mean?
Yep. Hell yeah.
Has he got any QBs yet? See, you know what? We'll recap that. That's what we're doing in the morning.
Yeah, because I have no idea. And Freak Stomper said, right on, guys. Appreciate you. Hell yeah, Freak. Thanks for hanging out.
Shout out to the Freak.
Appreciate everybody for hanging out with us on this Sunday night. And shout out to everyone in the 420 crew. And we'll see you tomorrow, bright and early. So we're going to recap this tourney. And then we got Mock Draft Monday with Spencer the Guru making its comeback tomorrow. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for multiple shows. Peace out.